Have you ever pondered the conundrum of Darwinian atheism and its relationship with the scientific method? It's a fascinating topic that delves into the history and evolution of scientific thinking, starting from the era of Francis Bacon to the time of Charles Darwin and extending to our current day. Francis Bacon, often referred to as the father of the scientific method, was a stalwart advocate of experimental science. He argued for inductive reasoning, a process of drawing general conclusions from specific observations. In essence, he was championing a bottom-up approach to understanding the world, a stark contrast to the top-down, deductive reasoning of the ancient Greeks. Bacon, a devout Christian, saw the scientific method as a tool to glorify God and fulfill Scripture. He believed that the application of this method could help overcome human susceptibility to self-deception, fanciful thinking, and hasty conclusions. However, the philosophy of Darwinian atheism appears to sidestep Bacon's inductive methodology. To quote from an 1859 letter by Adam Sedgwick to Charles Darwin, "You have deserted after a start in that tram-road of all solid physical truth, the true method of induction, and started us in machinery as wild, I think, as Bishop Wilkins' locomotive that was to sail with us to the moon." Even Darwin himself, 2 years before publishing his seminal work, confessed to Asa Gray, "I'm quite conscious that my speculations run quite beyond the bounds of true science. And what you hint at generally is very, very true, that my work will be grievously hypothetical and large parts by no means worthy of being called inductive, my commonest error being probably induction from too few facts." Fast forward to today, and the situation remains largely unchanged. Despite 150 years of research, there is no experimental evidence to substantiate Darwin's theory as scientifically valid. As documented in Dr. Richard Nelson's book, Darwin, Then and Now, after 150 years of research, the scientific evidence is clear. There are no successive slight changes in the fossil record, embryology, molecular biology, or genetics to support Darwinism or neo-Darwinism. Experimental evidence played no significant role in the formation of Darwin's theory. What is more, experimental evidence is not currently allowed to challenge the central assumption of Darwin's theory, naturalistic atheism. Biophysicist Cornelius Hunter puts it succinctly: "Evolutionists themselves can forfeit natural selection, random causes, common descent, etc. How do I know? Because it is in the literature. So what is evolution? In other words, what is core to the theory and not forfeitable? It's naturalism, period. That is the only thing required of evolutionary theory. And naturalism is a religious requirement, not a scientific one." To sum up, Darwinian evolution does not adhere to the inductive methodology of the scientific method. Instead, it is primarily based on the presumption of atheistic naturalism. Rather than being an experimental science, it is more accurate to describe Darwinism as a religious dogma that is resistant to experimental falsification. A thought-provoking divergence from Bacon's vision, indeed.